Terrence Howard's exclusive interview has just been released, revealing a list of celebrities allegedly sexually involved with Diddy. Reports claim Howard has received threats after naming names. Meanwhile, Diddy's legal troubles have worsened with a new lawsuit implicating Jay-Z, Beyoncé, and even LeBron James. This lawsuit suggests that some of the most powerful figures in the industry were tied to Diddy. If he ends up behind bars
against me, and use the same courage that it took for me to say those truths. Man to man, eye to eye, integrity and in truth. I've spent a lifetime earning the right to speak with the conviction about these truths that I speak. So if you want to tear that down, have the decency to come and say it directly to my face. And say it like a man.
Oscar-nominated actor Terrence Howard walked away from Hollywood because he saw what really happens behind the scenes. Casting couches and sexual favors are the unspoken foundation of the industry. And Diddy's arrest, along with the tapes he allegedly recorded, only support this. On a recent episode of the Patrick Bet-David podcast, Howard revealed that he turned down major roles to...
Did you ever have the opportunity where you got invited and you said no to it?
Hell yeah.
What was the consequences when you said no?
Puffy invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Go there and he's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music. And he's sitting there just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to fuck you. That's what my assistant said. And I was like, oh, okay. Now I get it. So now no more communication. Now you know to be hands off with somebody. A number of producers come in to make the approach. And you threaten to punch them in the mouth, or threaten to knock their head off for talking to you or looking at you like you're a woman. When you approach a real man about his masculinity, you're going to get a real reaction back. It's a difference when a guy walks in a room and when a man walks into a room. And a man don't take the same things that a guy will accept. So always be the man in the room. And that's always been my whole thing. And I've lost businesses because I don't bend over in that way. I don't compromise. I don't play gay roles. I don't kiss a man. I don't do that shit. Because the man card means it.
Terrence Howard spoke out about the mental toll this abuse takes. He said those who give in and sacrifice their integrity are left haunted for life. According to him, stars like Justin Bieber and Usher are struggling with trauma and resorting to drugs to numb the pain.
You see some guys struggling with that. You see Bieber struggling with that. You see some of these guys struggling with that.
They can't get it out of their head. They can't get it out of their head. The things that they did. No matter how they did it, whether they were drunk or high or whatever, you gave up your man card. You need therapy. And that's the thing that hurts them the most. And so they end up on drugs, end up every way to try and get rid of any principles there are. And that's what the business does. And the women that trade their bodies to go and get the role, they get to the point where they have their Oscar, they have their money, but they don't have their dream. They don't have the soul that they started with. So it's like achieving don't mean anything. If I get all the Nobel Prizes from doing all of this, but in the process I have to trade out all of my integrity to do it so that they can stay in place, what benefit is that if I lose my integrity? You got to go in as a principal. And what we were brought in here as men. We produce 1,500 sperm per heartbeat for a reason, because the aggression is necessary. You don't trade that in, no matter.
Before the interview, Terrence Howard tweeted that he was going to expose the lies and that he was just getting started. "This is the end of the great lie," he wrote. "We've waited years for the truth. Now it's here. Let's live by it. The system of lies is coming down. The revolution has begun." After the interview, Howard was reportedly approached by people he mentioned.
Listen, before y'all talk about me, y'all need to talk to me. You see, once upon a time, if a man questioned another man's honor, he didn't do it from the shadows. He had to do it out in the open, with his name, his chest out, and his chin high. not hiding behind a keyboard or tucked behind edited clips of fair use disclaimers. You see, citing Section 107 of the Copyright Act does not give you free rein to defame, misrepresent, or harm another's reputation. Fair use is not a shield for character assassination. So here's the simple truth. If you take my words, my image, my ideas, and twist them to feed your fear and inflate your ego, if you profit off of my name while calling me a liar, then be prepared to stand behind your accusation.
As we examine what Terrence Howard has been saying, a darker picture of Hollywood emerges, one filled with predators. Sexual abuse appears to be widespread in the industry. Names like Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Roman Polanski, and now Diddy are linked to serious allegations. These individuals, according to
take drugs, you're going through so much shit to try and deal with life. You are literally, it's an unhealthy space. And so eventually you're going to go too far, you know? Who knows what happened to Philip? Who knows what he had to do in order to get to where he was at? There's a lot of things that people do that end up sitting and they can't get over it. And they got to keep getting high, hoping to get it out of their head, you know? But when you lose your man card, that's the only thing I can think of. You lose your damn man card.
What is that? What do you mean by that?
You give up your ability, your right to being a man. A man don't take it, a man gives it. So when you give up that man card, you don't get that back.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
No, I'm saying what I'm saying. You don't get that back. You come into this world as a man one time. You give up that right for anything, for fear of being hurt, fear of somebody doing something, for wanting to gain something. When you give up that man card right, you lose some spiritual energy that has always been pushing through. Like if a woman gives up her womanly right of being a mother and taking care of her family and do all those things, when you give up those things, but when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Get punked out and pimped out by some greater desire. You shouldn't have a greater desire than being a man. So I believe that's a big problem with a lot of the actors out there because they get fluid. And next thing you know, once you go fluid, it's gone. You don't have any foundation to pull yourself back from. So maintain your man.
This is something 50 Cent has been warning about for years. According to him, every celebrity who attended Diddy's notorious parties knew what was happening but kept silent to protect their careers. By enabling the abuse and covering up Diddy's crimes, his guests became complicit. 50 Cent refused to attend because he wasn't willing to be part of it.
I liked each other business-wise for a long time.
Oh, that's why. It's only business. It was really... Away from that, I explained why I didn't hang out with him. Right? Because it's a little fluffy stuff going on.
It's not your scene.
It's not my style.
Not your scene.
They hug you from the front and the back at the same time. I got uncomfortable with him because the way he was acting to try and get me to hang out with him was like, yo, I'll take you shopping. Like, and I'm like, what you mean? Like, that's something you say to a woman you're attracted to, maybe.
Right.
It's just weird, bro. Like, and now you start to see a lot of the weird stuff that was there. It looks like it all lines up, don't it? It was not in the closet. It was in front of you and you wasn't seeing it because you see the beards. Or you see the girls. So you didn't look at them the way it actually is to a degree. Now, when I say people respond, how people respond to things matter, like the internet will take to it and just go off with it. Meek responds being the uncomfortability. He goes, yo, I'll spend $100,000 to find out why my name is in this like this.
Meek Mill, unlike 50 Cent, was frequently seen with Diddy, shopping together and showing up at parties in matching outfits. 50 publicly rejected Diddy, claiming he knew what Diddy's invitations really meant. He also stated that Diddy was sexually interested in him, but he
offered to take you shopping.
Yeah, you see, now Meek is in the same shirt. He's out there in the same shirt. This is not Photoshop.
Shit.
Stop it, man. You set that up. Look, obviously was not offended by what I was offended by. Guys may say to a girl, you know, like, let me take a shot. See?
Damn.
They found it that quick.
What do you think's happening in the middle?
I don't know what is going on there. Because it was like, he was like, yo, you hot now. Now we got to hang out now. Like, you know, like hang out.
Yeah.
He said, I don't know, man. I take you shopping and I get you some flash and you can give me the hood shit. And I was looking and I was like, let me just move away from him because I'm gonna mess up the way. Certain things they let it go by because it's Puff. He wasn't like in the closet, he was like in the hallway.
All these years, you being the only one calling this out.
I look like I've been the crazy guy for a long time.
You're a hater.